Hi, thanks for tuning in. My name's Stuart. I'm a park runner. This channel is all about my journey on park running, and I've got something very different to report. I was out running last week on Thursday, and I was attacked by a van driver. So I'm going to be talking about that. And I learned some lessons from that experience, and I don't know, maybe you can learn too. Just briefly though, my latest park run at Roselle in Scotland in Ayr was an extremely wet experience. It made me even think twice about running on that particular park run if it's been raining. The whole course was heavily waterlogged, and I wouldn't really say it was a good experience. Yeah, it was. I mean, you should see the state of my trainers. They're absolutely filthy, and in fact, they're still dirty. I don't know what I'm going to do with them. I'm just out training in them, hoping that eventually they're going to get clean, but maybe I should give them a really good wipe down or something. So this weekend, it's been raining again here virtually the whole week. I'm probably going to be looking for a dry course or, sort of concrete tarmac type course to run on rather than running in a park where the paths are absolutely waterlogged. Yeah, so let me just tell you then about this incident where I was attacked. Okay, well, look. I mean, look at me. Do you see any broken teeth? Do you see a broken nose? Do you see a black eye? You know, am I injured? No. So obviously the outcome was not disastrous, but it was very, very scary. So I'll just tell you what happened. I went out on my normal lunchtime run. Now, oddly enough, last Thursday, I decided actually only to run 3 days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 2 day rest, then the Saturday park run, because I worked out that from my experience, a 2 day rest before the park run, my legs are completely recovered from all the training. They feel fresh, they feel bouncy, and I've run my best time at Woollerton Park in Nottingham, 26 minutes 25, knocking 1.5 minutes off my previous best time. And I felt great, and I generally feel good when I've not run for 2 days and I go out for a run. I'm fine. However, come Thursday, I thought, if I'm going to be sort of serious about park running, I can't just run 3 days in the week and then run on a Saturday. 4 runs a week to me is not really enough. So I thought, let's go for the Thursday run. Let's go for a run. The weather looked kind of okay. So I went out on the route that takes me about 3.3 miles, just sort of over 5k. And I was running along the road. It's a sort of busy road, a main road. There's a fuel station, there are some shops, etc. The traffic usually flows quite continuously on this road. It's not a narrow road, but it's kind of comfortable for the cars and the traffic to go. In front of me, on the pavement or sidewalk, as you call it in America, if you're watching in America, the walkway at any rate, I saw about 100 meters in front of me a group of walkers. Some of them were wearing rucksacks. I don't know, maybe they were out for the day. They looked like sort of older generation, older than me. They looked like older generation, and they were quite tightly bunched. And I could see that there was no real feasible way of running through them. Coming up behind them and asking them to move to the left, I thought would just create confusion. I didn't really want to stop. I've previously when I've been out for a run, sometimes, for example, see a woman with a double pushchair in front of me, or maybe two women with two pushchairs occupying the entire pavement. I've previously checked quickly on the road, what's the road like, is it safe, and I've stepped onto the road, into the gutter, for a few seconds just to get past them. And I decided to do exactly the same with these runners. I didn't really see that should be a problem. And I estimated that there would be at least 1 meter, 1.5 meters clearance between me and the traffic. And that, although I was running with the traffic, I didn't really think it would be a problem. So initially, actually, I was able to kind of run on the edge of the curb because there was a little bit of room, but this was becoming difficult. So I made a quick check to the right, couldn't see that there was any problem with any traffic, and cars were flowing, but there was clearance space. So I jumped on, or rather just stepped on into the curb. Literally, I mean, that close to the curb. I was as close to the curb as one could possibly be. And after a few seconds, a van went past me, and he went beep beep. He sounded his horn, beep 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 beep. You know, I mean, I could only presume that it was for me. Yeah. Well, I thought, what's the big deal? You know, that's completely uncalled for. I don't know what your problem is, pal, but you know, that is uncalled for. And I flipped him off, you know, sort of raised my hand as if to say, you know, what the hell, you know, what are you talking about? What exactly is the problem? What's your problem? And off he went, and I thought there wouldn't be anything more of it. You know, I just put it out of my mind. I thought, I've been beeped before occasionally. Sometimes it's been my fault. For example, there was an occasion, just a minute. Sorry. Sorry. There was an occasion. Right, yeah. So I didn't think anything more would come of it. Of course not. I mean, look, out of 100 van drivers, how many would want to follow up on being flipped off in that kind of situation? The way I'd seen it is he shouldn't have flipped me off. Sorry, he shouldn't have beeped me like he did, which, let's face it, was a rebuke as he beeped me after he went past. He couldn't have possibly been beeping me to notify me that he was there or there was some kind of danger that was imminent. It was purely a rebuke. Now, in the UK, pedestrians always have priority wherever they happen to be. When I'm out driving, if I see a pedestrian on the road, either crossing the road or I've seen runners on the road, my only concern is to get around them and not injure them, to give them maximum priority of care, because I'm in a big metal box that's a lethal weapon and they're out there just, they've got no protection. So I never beat pedestrians, never. I don't ask, why are they there? What are they doing there? No, that's not my job. My job is to get around them and not injure them. Nothing else. So, okay. So what happened was that I kept running, and this particular road that I run on, there's a kind of, it veers left. You can either go straight on the main road or you can veer left onto a side road that takes you through a sort of quiet area that goes under an underpass. So I'm running along this road and suddenly I see a van. I see a van and I see a guy getting out. He's a big guy, he's my size, he's strongly built, he looks like he's in his mid-20s. And he says to me, right, I'll teach you to run in the road. And he's coming straight to me. I've got virtually no time to react. He's closing down the gap like this. And I think I'm either going to have to fight this guy, get my fists up and have a good old fight with him, or try and defuse or try and back off or something. So I backed off. I started moving backwards. I didn't say anything to him. I started moving backwards. Right? And you know, he kept advancing towards me, and then I looked like I was going to run away, and then he stopped, and I think he'd made his point. Yep, you're the coward, I'm the big man, that's it. And he went back to his van, and he just said to me, you know, don't do that again, or something like that. He went back to his van, and I kind of turned to continue on my route. I thought, well, that's the end of it. But you know something, as I was going past and he was getting into his van, I said something which I shouldn't have said, and one of the words started with F. I mean, I was angry that he'd made a big deal out of this, and I kind of thought out loud, and I used an F word, and he suddenly jumped out of his van. I triggered him. Never poke a bear. That was my mistake. Never poke a bear. I triggered him. He ran at me and he said, right, let's see who can run the fastest. And he was coming straight at me. I thought, oh my God, I can't believe this. I mean, this guy was a mad bull. All right, yeah, I should have kept my mouth shut. But there was some anger in me that he'd, you know, made such a big deal out of this. I mean, I would fight in my life if I had to, but I wasn't going to fight over such a trivial thing as a road disagreement. But he was prepared to fight. So I quickly turned. I thought, I'm going to have to sprint away from this lunatic. Either that, or I'm going to have to risk blows to the head, blows to the body. I'm going to have to trade blows with him. You know, broken teeth, broken nose, black eyes, maybe something worse. People sometimes get killed from road rage. So I sprinted off. So did he. And I kind of looked behind me to see what was happening. Is he closing the gap? And as he actually set off to sprint, sprint after me, he lost his footing and he fell flat on his face. I couldn't believe it. Yeah, he went down, bang. And I just kept running. I kept running, put as much distance between me and him as possible. And I got exhausted. I looked behind me. He's still not there. I don't know what he's doing. Maybe he's getting into his van. Maybe he's going to come after me and try and run me over. I don't know. This guy is an absolute lunatic. I quickly darted behind a building, and there was some. I literally hid. I hid in a place where I thought, if he comes after me in his van, he'll go straight past, and he won't even see me. I waited 5 minutes. I didn't see him. I went to look. He wasn't there. I don't know what happened. Maybe he got in his van. Maybe he came after me, and he couldn't see me anywhere, and that was it. My heart was beating like hell. I thought, oh my God, I can't believe that. I'm never, ever going to gesticulate or flip anybody off. I mean, particularly when you're a pedestrian. At least when you're in a car, you've got a metal box around you as protection. You've got an engine. You can get away, But when you're a pedestrian, yeah, I'll never, ever do that again. I think in future, if somebody beeps me, beep, 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 they're angry. I don't know what's going on in their lives. I'll put my hand up. Sorry, you're the man. Sorry, my mistake. Even though I'm in the right. No, that's not important. What's important is not getting injured, not getting into a fight. That's the important thing. Now, had he caught up with me, who knows? I might have acquitted myself quite well. I was all ready to start. Just throw as many punches at his face as possible. But, supposing that I'd overcome him and put him down, left him with a bloody nose, left him with broken teeth, do you think that would have been a good outcome for anybody? No, it wouldn't have been. And I'm glad it happened the way that it happened. I didn't get injured. I didn't get hurt. Neither did he. Okay, I felt like a bit of a coward running away from a fight, but I'm here to tell the tale. So, please learn from my experience. You wouldn't be as stupid as I would. You wouldn't flip anybody off if you were a pedestrian. You wouldn't flip a van driver off, because now you'll be aware, after my experience, that there's a tiny little percentage of people out there who are unhinged, who are prepared to get out and make a big point and beat you up over something as trivial as this. Now, I won't and don't want to get into any fights. And if I, in my life, ever do have to get into a fight, it will be over something really important, like, I don't know, my girlfriend is being attacked or something like that. It will be something really important. It won't be something as trivial as somebody beeping me and me flipping them off. So no, absolutely no way. I did run. I ran. I'm glad I got away from the fight. So anyway, that's it. That's what can happen when you're out running. Be careful. Be safe. I got away. Luckily, if he hadn't slipped, I think he would have caught me and I'd be here telling a different story. Maybe I wouldn't be here at all. Anyway, that's the end of the story. Thanks for watching. Look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye for now.